All right. We are back on the podcast today. We're doing one virtually. We have somebody from Thailand on. We have Coach Martin. How are you today, Coach Martin?
I'm fantastic. Thanks very much, Tom. And it's not a morning for me; it's nighttime for me here. 10:20.
Nighttime for you and morning for me. 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
And Coach, what time is it by you?
10 p.m. So we have 11 hours difference right now.
11 hours difference. Thank you for making your schedule available for a night podcast.
I'm used to it.
I just, I appreciate it. So, kind of, let's get into it. So, what is it that you do in Thailand? And we're going to come back to that you've lived in New Jersey, not too far from our studio. So,
That's
let's
correct.
start with what are you doing in Thailand? What's going on? What's your business so that let the audience know what you got going
Right,
for you?
right. So I am in Thailand for about 2 years now, permanent more 2 years. I've been here before.
Uh huh.
I run small businesses in Thailand. So I run a small restaurant and a beer shop, like a small pub, but very, very
Oh,
local.
cool.
It's not for tourists or expatriate. It's really for Thai people. I have also a bakery that I run, but the main business I have, which is mostly online, it's business coaching, mentoring, and advisor as well. So I work with small businesses. I work with large organizations as well in some cases, and more now I'm converting with aspiring entrepreneur. So I find out that the more I talk to people, the more people are worried about the future, about their job, about the market, and they want to start doing something, their own things. The thing is, the majority of people have the ambition, and it stopped right there because they don't know where to start. So this is where
Yeah,
I
it's
come
it's
in.
overwhelming when you want to
It
start a
is.
business. There's a
It,
lot to it,
it is. It is.
And again, if your family or friends aren't in business, I think people don't realize like, there is a lot to it. Like, you got to start with getting incorporated and getting an LLC,
Yeah.
then to a bank account and an EIN. And people say, "What's an EIN?" And
Right. Right.
you
Right.
and I know very easily how easy it is to get an EIN, but at the same time, I don't think that people really, know what to do. It
No,
probably freezes them
exactly.
up a little bit.
And this is what you mentioned here is just the let's say the legal part of it, or the tip of the iceberg, like the technical stuff. But behind that, there's a lot of things about First of all, the majority of people want to do a business, they have no idea what, and this is where majority of block is. How do you come
Yeah.
with an idea? You need to solve a problem. You have the solution to the problem. You need to come up with a business model because the majority, and I think in the US, if I'm not mistaken, more than 25% of the new businesses will never celebrate their first year anniversary. And the majority, I think it's 82%, is because of but no planning. So people say, oh,
Yeah.
I'm start a business. And yes, you can start, like you said, very easily, but to sustain it for a year and make money out of it, that's the planning part. This is where I coach people about the thinking of the business, the process before, and I have the 5-step process how to go from the idea to launching your business, which is the preparation for
Hmm.
everything. But yeah, once it's launched, when it's launched, this is where the magic happened, but where the roller coaster happened as well.
Sure. It is it is a roller coaster. That's a great way to put it. But I also think it's great once you get through some of these things and start to put a plan together. And
Yeah.
there's so many businesses and businesses that were popular 20 years ago. Some of them are still popular, but there's so many new businesses
Oh
and
yeah.
there's so many, you know, um, you know challenges that business owners have and people have that a business can be born and started and be great instantly.
Yeah, and the opposite is also true, right? So the thing in business is you need to be able to adapt and be flexible and change. And
Hmm.
this is where the majority of people cannot change because I've been doing this for 10 years and it's always been working, and they refuse to
Yeah,
see, the market is changing. And now with AI coming up, I mean, it's just a different world now. So you need to be able to adapt to it. Either you adapt
you need
or
adaptability and if you're not in if you can't if you're one of those people that is stuck in the mud and they you can't it's going to be very hard.
you need to try. The thing with, and I think it can relate also to your podcast is the grit is in business, you will fail. I guarantee you, whether you're good or not good, you will fail. And it's part of it. So once you accept that and you work hard, you fail, you're on your knees, you learn, you get up, you try again, and then that's actually a constant thing in business. it never stops. You never stop making mistakes and failing all the time. But over time, you grow and you succeed.
Yep.
That's the
I
mindset.
couldn't agree with you more. And I think that failure is part of it, and you just, you have to learn from that failure. Like
Correct.
once you start to embrace it and say, all right, what could I have done differently? How do I react to this the next time? Then you're able to do that. I think at first, when when you're first in business, you don't want to make a mistake and you don't want anything to go wrong, and that's not real. And I can tell you that from my own. You want to be as great as you can be, and
There's no such
learn from
thing.
yesterday. I always try to say I want to do better than I did yesterday.
Yeah,
And if I made a mistake yesterday, I want to learn from that mistake and not make the same mistake again.
correct.
But you're going to make mistakes. That's part of it. And
That's part of it.
there's no business that hasn't.
Exactly. At least people don't want to show it because they have the pride and say, no, it's success, but no. And actually,
Yeah.
even in my industry as a coach, I always say if people claim that they never fail, they just succeed, they cannot coach you. They cannot teach you anything because they don't know
No.
how to fight, right? Failure
Yeah.
is a big
It's like
part
the
of the
people that
business.
go to the casino they never lost at the casino, or they've never lost at picking stocks either.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same person
Doesn't it?
there.
The same principle, right?
Yep. So now you've lived in 10 different countries. Kind of talk about that and why,
Right.
and where you are now and why you like where you are, and what you did in some of these other places.
Right. I can describe this as a journey, Tom. Sometime in life is you can complain about your situation, you can do something about it. And if I look back, and back then I didn't have the reflection I have today, so now I can explain it with clarity. But back then I was just kind of improvising. But you come to a point in life where you're not happy, you're not sure why, and you kind of feel you don't belong where you are, what you do, and this is what happened to me. I cannot really put a date on it, but it's probably 10 years ago or so, 10, 15 years ago, when I thought I was meant for more. I was not happy with what was where I was or what I was doing. And you come to a point where you make a target in time. You say, this is what I want to become. And sometimes you kind of imagine a timeline, which is never happening, but at least you have some kind of long term to say, this is what I want to become, this is what I want to do in life, and then you start making the steps accordingly. So if you follow and link this to the 10 countries and why 10 countries, and where I am today, where I am today is pretty much where I imagine I would be 10, 15 years ago. I wanted to live in a
Okay.
country where I really love Thailand, so I wanted to live in a country in Southeast Asia. I wanted to do business. I want to become a digital nomad. So I want to have this lifestyle that all come with it. But of course, back then, in the corporate world, a 9 to 5 type of thing, it kind of seems impossible. So then you start looking back, and this is also what I teach, coach in business, is you look back in your destination. Where do you want to go in 5 years or 10 years from now? And then you start backing up, right? So, for example, to become a digital nomad, and to become an entrepreneur or have business, you need to start getting into entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship, you need to take risks. And then you go back and taking risk. You cannot be a fluent businessman international if you never travel international. So I start taking some contracts and start, taking opportunities here and there, and there's nothing that stopped me. And to be able to do this, I need to have some kind of education, which I didn't have. So I went and did my MBA like maybe 7, 8 years ago. And before I did my MBA, I didn't speak English very well because I was, French Canadian. So I kind of learned my English as well. If you all go back 10, 15 years ago, this is where I think the click happens. I need to change my life. And without having a firm plan or roadmap, I had at least a destination in mind. And one thing leads to another. The first time I actually moved out of my country was in Germany. And it took me at least a year to decide, based on opportunity, to leave everything behind, leave a very well-paid job, leave my house, leave my friends, leave most of my family, go to a country where I didn't speak the language, didn't know what I was doing, and just, I just went for it. And it's all about getting out of your comfort zone, basically. And the first time is difficult. And after a while, then I was comfortable. I was like, okay, let's go to Ukraine. I had an opportunity in Ukraine. I did some months there. And then I went back to Germany and went to Spain for a while and start moving like this over and over. And at some point, also changing companies. And and this is where I lead. Also, I went back to you mentioned before. I lived in Jersey for a bit. I went about 2 years in the U.S. I work with a company called Marley Spoon with Martha Stewart, based in New York.
Okay.
And this was another change because I was always in a corporate, big multinational like Costco and the likes in Europe and in Asia, big corporate job and so on. And because I wanted to become an entrepreneur, I need to experience the startup world as well. So I moved to New York for a startup, food startup, from scratch with no teams whatsoever, and grew that company as well.
Really?
Yeah, so there was quite an experience actually. Not only again changing the country, changing the culture, changing the work environment and the type of business I was in, and it's very uncomfortable, but you learn how to grow out of it. But it was part of my roadmap in a sense.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah, exactly.
When
Pushing my limit.
like when you start doing those, you got to start pushing your limits. You got to start feeling uncomfortable. When you start feeling comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, but that's a funny thing too, Tom, is because I've done so many of these things, and I don't tell you everything that I've done, scary stuff as well, but I come to a point where when I'm comfortable, I'm not comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I come to a point that if I feel that everything is going well, something's wrong. Something is missing. I need to do something else. I need to push my limit even more. And even I'm where I am today, I love what I'm doing and so on. I still try new things all the time. I'm still taking chances and risk, and it's a never-ending story. But you kind of live through this. For me, this is
that's
what
the
life's
typical
about.
entrepreneur. Every entrepreneur is crazy. I've said it that I've said this along the way on this program. Entrepreneurs they're wired differently. They think differently. They do differently. They feel like they could achieve anything, and they take risks. Sometimes risks that are not needed to be taken, but they take them anyway because
just because why
they
not?
want to do. They want to do it, and they want to do it better, and they're in their head that it makes 100% sense. So, when you look at it, I totally get it, but it's funny how that kind of happens.
Yeah, exactly. But that's
So now
it's a
with your
mindset.
coaching,
Yeah, I'm coaching.
with your coaching, so like that takes up is that what takes up most of your day?
Yeah, well, I like to say I have 2 full-time jobs because I do quite a bit of coaching and a bit of consulting from some companies as well. But this type of business also is a lot of it is into prospecting new clients and talking to potential new connections and networking and stuff. So that's part of the job too. So I probably work 40, 50, 60 hours per week on this environment. But I probably, still working at 30, 40 hours a week in my other businesses as well. So when you do the count, it's 80 to 100 hours per week that I'm, dedicate to my work. But it doesn't feel like this because for me it's not work, it's fun. I wake up in the morning and I'm excited to start my day. So it's people say how many hours you work? Because I don't count it. I don't even have a Saturday or weekend or Monday. This all blurs in. Yeah.
Totally, I understand. I live a very similar world to you. I work a lot of hours. Again, when you have multiple businesses, there's always something to do. Again, my idea is never to just be, where you're bored and where you're not growing. You want to make sure you're always, continuing to get better, continue to grow.
What's
look
next?
At other improvements that you could do for your business, for your clients, for everything you do. I 100% get it. Your feeling on that. So, now, which country did you like living in the best?
Well, I want to say Thailand because this is the destination I've chosen now. But I have to say that Spain and Germany was up there, but for different reasons. Germany, I kind of like it because people underestimate what it is. Like this, I like culture, I like history, so it's full of cultural and history. It's very rigid though, like more than I like, but it's things working quite well there. In Spain, I kind of like the laid-back environment, and of course the sun. I was living on a coast that I think it's 275 days of sun per year on average. So
wow, that's nice.
You realize why the happiness level of people is higher there than in the northern countries,
totally.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these but everywhere I've found my pleasure, I would say.
So now, are you planning on staying in Thailand?
Yeah, for the moment, yeah. Yeah,
Good.
I mean, my mind is always open to any new opportunities, either for short term or long term. But at the moment, I kind of like it here. It's been 2 years already, and I don't see a reason why moving away. Especially that I'm doing more
Sure.
and more the business here. But because I'm switching more to my online coaching business, it allows me to be able to work from anywhere if I want to.
Yep. Now, where do you get most of your clients from for the online coaching?
I get my clients. I actually have clients everywhere. I have some clients in Indonesia, Malaysia. I have some in Thailand. I have in California. I have one in Mexico. I have some in Europe. I have, yeah, all over. That's why I said 10 o'clock for me is like a normal routine. I work early in the morning
Yeah,
to
sure.
late at night because my clients are pretty much everywhere. I
Now, how do you acquire your clients, being in all these different countries, and the fact that you're in Thailand and you're working with somebody in California? I do jobs in California, but I'm in New Jersey.
Right.
It's a 3-hour difference, but how are you securing and finding
So
these new
the
clients?
majority of the clients I have or got is through referrals or networking. I
Okay,
don't have a.
perfect.
I'm not the type of coach that do a lot of online. I do content every day just because I like it, and just because I want to provide the content for my followers. Uh,
Sure.
but I don't do this for recruiting anything. So I have from time to time people contact me from social media, but that's a
Hmm.
minority. The majority of the time is through my, because I've also worked in 10 different countries and I have a large network of people. I always,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and now I'm getting more and more public about what I'm doing. So people that knew me from the past, oh, wow, this is why I'm interested. I want to talk to you, right? And then you coach someone that knows someone. Say, I think this guy would be interested as well. So it kind
Sure.
of roll into this pattern of referral.
That's great. That's great that you can keep getting those referrals, and those referrals keep growing, growing the organization, right?
And I do podcasts from time to time.
Yeah. I mean, the podcasts are great. They're a great way to kind of get your name out there. It's a lot of good content
Right.
that comes from it. And again, you have a wealth of information and knowledge from all your coaching. So, in this world of technology, where do you see? How are you advising your clients in 2024 for
Yeah.
the world of technology that we're living in?
Well, I have two advices, and they're at both ends of the spectrum, basically. If we talk about the technological part, you have AI that just came up less than 2 years ago. Is changing the
Mm-hmm.
world personally and on the business. And my point of view on this one is it's there to stay. It's just going to get more and more in your face in the next couple of years. So you have no choice to adapt, right? As a business or
Yeah.
as a person, and I use AI every single day for different things and more and more and more. So you have to see AI not as a threat, yeah, or I like to say don't be naive, because also AI sometimes says stupid stuff, and a lot of people are lazy and just take it as face value, right? But the thing I think, if you want to be in advance, you need to be able to play with it, adapt and digest the tools, be able to understand them, see how to use them, and integrate this into your business or everyday life. And the majority of the people don't think like this. And in 1 to 3 years from now, the people who can do this now will have a cutting edge, right? Will have a competitive advantage. The same was
Mm-hmm.
in social media, 20 years ago. People, oh, I'm not going to do this for my business, it's stupid. Yeah, but now they're behind, right? The people who adapt that, or 30 years ago with Google or internet, people, no, 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 my business is local. I'm not going to get into, yeah, too bad. Now you're behind, right? You lost. So the same thing with AI
Totally.
now. You need to adapt. It's there. So it's out there. You learn it, get familiar with it, use it as much as you can, integrate it, and then you'll
Mm-hmm.
be ahead of the game, right? So that's on one end the spectrum. The second part where people get confused a little bit, but I think there will be, this is just my perception as a coach, uh, an increasing demand for the human interaction, because everything is getting more and more technology. Everything is getting more and more with the bots or unpersonal, like especially when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to business or human resources and HR and stuff like that. It's getting ridiculous now. Even in job market, and I'm happy I'm not in that job market anymore. Um, but I think because of that, we're still human after all, and the human contact will become more and more relevant in the future. And that's why, as a coach, also I refuse to do online, like made classes or one size fits all type of thing. The content I do is for free, but when I do the coaching, is really a one-on-one coaching, is tailor-made to your needs, to your ambition, to your aspiration. It's not something that I have a program and we're going to follow a step, because I want to keep that
Sure.
human interaction to keep it emotional, because at the end, business is human, it's based on emotion as well, right? So I think the people will be able to combine both technology and human factor, will have a competitive advantage in the future. And that's true not only for coaching, for any businesses for that matter.
Sure, I think that makes a lot of sense. And what AI, where do you see where are you finding your initial phases of AI? Like, what are you doing right now on the daily with AI?
Well, I use a lot for many things actually. The one I use the most, of course, is ChatGPT, the paid version, because
Sure.
I do a lot of the heavy lifting with that. Again, and just to give you an example, because I like to explore and play with it, I wrote a book a couple of months ago, just for fun, because I wanted
Yeah.
to see. I always wanted to write a book, and someone challenged me a couple of months ago to say, you cannot write a book. I say, I bet I can. And they said, yeah, impossible. I say, he said, I'm going to give you 3 months to do it. So I've done it in 3 weeks, and I've published it.
Wow.
But I use AI, but not to the full extent, because of course you still need to get the ideas and the structure, and then. But it helps when it comes to the heavy lifting of writing the actual paragraph and the flow and correction and stuff like that. So it's really good. I use this on a daily basis for marketing content, for image and photo generation. I even went to the point of cloning myself with AI. Just to experience it. Again, it's just in a mindset of getting ahead and see how things work. But I've cloned my voice, I cloned my face and videos, and I've cloned my way of thinking with some GPTs as well. So I cannot, if I want to, I don't like it, but when I want to, and I'm busy, I just write a topic on ChatGPT. It writes me the script. I plug the script in my voice recognition, my voice clone, the voice clone in the video, and then poof, within 5 minutes, I have a TikTok video with all the captions and everything. It looks like me. Even my girlfriend thinks, sometimes is it you or is it not? So the technology,
Wow.
it's nascent, but it's still strong enough. And I'm doing it as an amateur, so I can just imagine if you put yourself into it and learn these tools, they're gonna take, 60-70% of your workload off your shoulder, so you can concentrate in doing what you're good at. In my case, what I
Sure.
like to do and what I'm good at is coaching people, talking to people. I don't like to do all the writing and content and stuff like that. So now I use AI on a daily basis to do that. So as opposed to
That's
take me
great.
2, 3, 4 hours to do this, it takes me an hour in the morning and I'm done for the day.
That's fantastic. And it's great use of time. So then you could get that time back doing what you want to be doing.
Exactly. And because of that, as a coach also, I can coach people how to use it. And that's one of the reasons I'm using it on a daily basis and try new tools all the time, is I want to be able to, when I coach businesses that want also to get ahead, I can coach them how to do it because I've done it.
I love it. I love it. That's great. So, and now, but you still like that human interaction
Oh, for
that
sure.
will go.
That's what I'm talking
So
about, is
take
using...
AI for the tasks you don't want to do, and then human
Yeah.
for tasks you do want to do.
I like to say AI should be an extension of yourself. Like I'm still the human and still the brain behind it. I use AI as my third arm to do what I don't have the time or the power to do. And
Sure.
what I'm not qualified to do as good as AI would do, you do the work. But I'm still the
Sure.
one behind it, right? So
Yeah.
I see AI as a pure extension of myself. I'm
I love
enhancing
it.
my
That's a great
capability
way to
through
think
AI.
about it.
Right.
That's a really good way to think about it. So, as we get ready to close up, what other thoughts and do you have for our audience?
One advice I like to say to everyone I coach or people in public in general is fear not. The majority of people don't. They have dreams, right? And they have ambition, they have aspiration, but they're always going to stay in their head because they have fears. They have fears of failure, fear of being judged, fear of not knowing what to do and how to do it. Fear not. If you
Fear not.
like what I said at the beginning, if you come with a mindset, I'm gonna fail, so what? You're gonna fail for sure. Once you're comfortable with that, then why not? You just go for it. So fear not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fear
Go,
not.
go for,
I
for
love
go
it.
for your dreams.
I love the idea of fear not. So with that, we're as we wrap up, let people know where they can find you, Coach, because I think you've given some great tips for today. I think that you have I love your kind of outlook on life. So let people know where they can find you if they're interested in your coaching
Right.
services.
So first of all, I'm everyone's social media, so you can Coach Martin. This is my name. I have a website called S-SENS Mentor. This is where I put most of my contents or programs out there. I have emails. I think you probably have my emails. I don't know if you put this on your podcast or not, but my contact details as well. Yeah, people reach me anywhere, and they're gonna find me. I'm every day on social media.
And just say your website one more time for people.
It's SENS, so S dash SENS mentor mentor.com. S-SENS mentor.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, this was great, Coach. I'm glad that I got you on. Now you can go relax and go watch TV before bed. But this was a great chat. I love what you're doing, and keep doing great things, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
And good day to
You
you.
bet. Have a great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.